Hello, I'm BX and welcome back to the video. Today we're going to talk about missing features from Minecraft console, because TU46, if you don't know, was based on the Minecraft 1.10 update for PC, and included pretty much all of the features from Minecraft 1.10, with just a few key exceptions. The big one is, of course, the new combat. There's also a few other features which didn't make their way to this update, and I think it's always interesting to look at these, which I'll be doing by using PC gameplay, and also kind of analysing exactly what they are, why they're missing, and perhaps if they'll be coming in the future. So that's what I'm doing today. Hopefully you do enjoy the video, like if you do, because it helps out the channel, and let's know you do enjoy this sort of stuff. But with that said, let's get straight into the first missing feature from Minecraft console TU46, which is going to be dual wielding. So dual wielding is something where obviously, I think this is one of the most controversial features on Minecraft of all time, and perhaps that's even the reason of itself why it wasn't in there. But basically, dual wielding is the opportunity to use two hands at once. So in Minecraft right now, you know, this is how everyone's used to it. You have one hand, one item at one time. That's kind of how things work. But basically, dual wielding would have allowed for things to change a little bit, because then you could have a second hand which could use your it's called the offhand slot, and it can do like kind of other stuff. So if you're curious as to how this would work, like, oh, there's only like two sets of triggers to take out on console, although that's not true, but yeah, there's only you know, how would that work? Everything has two uses. Basically on the PC they made it so every item has one use. It's either a left click use, which is right trigger on console, or it is a right trigger use, or which is obviously left trigger on console. So just reverse the triggers, which means that basically, you know, if you think about it this way, a bow uses one trigger and a sword uses the other, which means why can't you just hold both at the same time? And that's the thing they fixed by making dual wielding. So this means that if you want to, I think I did this wrong. If you want to, you could have your sword be your main offhand on-hand weapon, and then you could also do something like fire a bow, or if you wanted to even, you could be like, yeah, let's have golden carrots in my left hand so I can always eat while still having my sword out, which is pretty cool, because if I actually get hungry, which I think will be hard because I've got golden carrots, but if I got hungry, I could eat while also simultaneously hitting stuff with my sword. So that's the idea behind dual wielding. It's a really cool addition to the game. However, the reason it's so unpopular, you might be like, why is that unpopular, is because it also came with a brand new combat system. This means that if you look below my crosshair, you can see there's a cooldown every single time I hit. This kind of means that instead of spam clicking, which was how all PvP worked on servers before that, instead you have to kind of like time it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And the idea behind this was to add an extra skill elements to the game to kind of balance the, I guess the connections that come with servers. Because if you have a game that's entirely just based around you can click 15 times a second or whatever, then it comes down to like how fast the server can drag those clicks. So basically, there was a lot of downsides to having entirely just speed click connection-based combat, and they wanted to kind of counterbalance it with some skill. However, because people were so used to this, bear in mind Minecraft has had this same combat system for like 6 years now. Even though people had asked for like perhaps an upgrade to the combat system, it wasn't what they wanted because it takes some getting used to, and therefore it was one of the most, again, most controversial features on the PC. And this might have been the reason it was removed from the console, because they didn't want to go through the controversy again. But I don't actually know if that is necessarily it, because bear in mind when new combat was asked about at Minecon, because a few people also figure like, oh, maybe it's controls because you need the switch key on PC. This is F, but obviously there's no spare button controller, so you'd have to do it this way. But I think, doing it this way isn't too bad, and it's not like they can't just make a D-pad button to make this happen. So, and also at Minecon they said, yeah, we're working on the controls right now. If I had to guess, they couldn't find an intuitive control scheme at the time, or, as I'll go into a theory later, they might just have a whole combat update planned for this sort of stuff, because they also have, mini games they're working on, one of which could involve new combat. But again, that's something I think they're going to have to work more on than just as a part of a little thing. But I think new combat is something we might see in the future. But right now, the reasons it's a missing feature is because it's a lot of work for something that's very controversial, for something that doesn't necessarily gel too easily of, again, you have to put some extra work into making it gel with console players, and I think all of those things combined to just make them go, let's just take a step back from all of that. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons I think that new combat is not on this update. The second brand new feature, the missing feature I guess we could talk about, is actually the shield. So this is very closely related to this, because the shield is the right-click function from the sword. So, yeah, like I said, they tried to separate the left and right-click function of pretty much every weapon, so here you can see what used to be block with the sword is block with the shield. The shield, however, is significantly more powerful than the the block on a sword, and also it can I think it blocks 100% of damage, if not like 90-something%. It blocks most of damage towards it, but also it can deflect shulker shells. So if a shulker's firing at me, I can block all of these with this. However, the sword block does not do that. So yeah, right now we have the our sword, which is technically both weapons at once, but because there's no dual wielding, this shield can't work. So the reason this isn't in the game is because it's as simple as like, well, this doesn't make sense by itself. Like imagine, okay, so let me turn off dual wielding for a second. Imagine if the shield was just a standalone weapon. This would be entirely pointless, especially given the sword already does the same thing, right? So that's why the shield's not in here. It's like a prerequisite of another feature. However, the next combat combat-based feature isn't prerequisited by the new combat / dual wielding, because it is the of course the Spectral Arrows. So Spectral Arrows, if you've never seen them, they're really cool because they're kind of like the spot / the highlight feature from games like Battlefield, where if you want, you can call out an enemy and you can make them visible through walls and let everyone know that something's there. It lasts for around 10-15 seconds, and let's find out right now exactly what it is. It lasts for 10 seconds, as it turns out, and basically you can use this as for PvP, or you can just use it if you've got a bunch of you and be like, oh yeah, let's tame that horse. And he's like, which horse? And you're like, the brown one. And he's like, I'm not sure which brown one. So you could maybe fire your Spectral Arrow. Okay, wait. You could maybe fire your Spectral Arrow, and if you're actually good at aiming, which I guess is a pretty key part of that, then you could let them know, oh yeah, that one over there. Eventually, we've got enough arrows. That's how we live this life. And okay, there we go. That one over there, and then you'd be able to see it. So yeah, there's a few uses for this, and it's a pretty cool arrow in general, just for PvP and just it as a cool little arrow. And it's made from 4 glowstone, relatively easy to craft. Why is it on the console? I can't tell you for sure, but what I do think, the fact that this feature is missing, unlike the other ones where it's like, oh, there's some controversy and linked to other stuff, I think the Spectral Arrows might just make sense as part of a dedicated combat update. Like, it makes me think that maybe that's a plan they have, because bear in mind, again, they've hinted at new mini games. Some of those new mini games have new combat, so maybe they want to combine that with the new combat system, so they can introduce them together with the shields, with the new arrows. I don't know, because the one thing we do know about Spectral Arrows is they are in the game code right now, and they are intended to happen at some point, because they usually don't put those in there if they're not. At least that's how it feels to me, because it doesn't make sense to exclude them otherwise. So yeah, maybe there'll be some form of combat-based update. That's my opinion personally, but who knows for certain. That's just how it seems right now. So let's move on to the fourth missing feature from this update, which if I'm not mistaken, is a little bit less significant than these ones, but to me at least, it's something I was looking forward to just to make my life a little bit easier on the console, because it is auto jump. So right now, you can't probably see, but I'm only using one hand. I'm just using my, WASD keys, so I'm pressing W, and as you're seeing, even though I'm not pressing the spacebar or the A button on console, I'm jumping up. This came from the Pocket Edition, and it's a feature they put on the PC just to make the game a bit more accessible, I guess. So why is it not on the console? And that's a question I don't have the answer to. And you might be like, oh yeah, console gamers are hardcore, they know how to press the A button, but bear in mind, Minecraft console doesn't just aim at hardcore gamers. I think that's probably not even the primary demographic. I think, there's got to be like some decent, double-digit % of players who are like, kids playing console for the first time, or who are just, like, even if it's like parents who are just playing console for the first time, there are people who are just like, oh yeah, how do you play Minecraft? I hear it's on that Xbox thing, go, let's do it. It's got to be something like that, and auto jump could make the game a bit easier. Maybe it's just because it breaks the convention of other games, or maybe they just, didn't think that this would make sense, but auto jump is one of those features I really want, not because it, not because I don't want to press the A button because I don't know where it is, but I think it makes the game a little bit more accessible, so that's kind of nice, but 2, it means you can actually climb upstairs faster, and you can just do it with less effort, which is honestly, that's mostly what I'm going for. Like, I want to be able to just, hold left on the D-pad like this, and then read some chat or something like that. And I know that's a very specific use, but I want auto jump anyway. Why is it excluded? If I had to guess, it just, most console games don't do it, so they figured, why should we? But I don't know, if you're listening, 4J, I wanna hold down my left stick and also read comments and stuff. So maybe that's a good enough reason, maybe it's not. But let's move on to the final feature, which is missing this update, and this is the weird one where I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't really expect this to come, but the fact that it's not with no reference to it is kind of interesting, because it is in the game code for console right now. So it is the structure block. So you can't actually even get this in creative for the PC. Like if I type, let me show what I mean by that. So we go to PC game mode. I think it's 1 for creative. If we look for the structure block, this thing right here, you'll notice how it's not there. And you might be like, wait, it's a block that's not even available on PC creative. Well, it's kind of like the command block where you have to, give it to yourself with some commands. And I think the command is it's this one right here. It's like give toy cat structure block. So you do that, and suddenly you get a structure block. So how does the structure block work? Well, it's really cool. It's one of the most powerful blocks they've ever added, and I think, the complexities of adding this to the console might be a bit too much, because basically, you go in there, you have to, like, set, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to save, like, a structure, let's call it gym, because it's gym the structure, and we can, like, set a particular place for it, so I think let's call that, like, 50. No, I don't think you can go to 50. Let's just like set some random variables, so like 10, 10, and 10. You could do this around a desert temple or something like that. This is a really bad example. And you set like an area for your structure. So this is gym the structure, which is just some gold blocks. Let's make it a bit more. So this is, yeah, as you can see, this is a real structure someone might want. Actually, wait. Let me show you how we can change this. So let's set the relative position to like -5. And then just like that, now we've got like a real place, and we could copy paste this wherever we want. It's like a copy paste block, which is really handy, because obviously previously you just have to kind of edit and stuff. So we got a gym structure now, so we go to load. When we can load gym in, I don't know how we're gonna load him in. I think we have to like set the relative position to -50, and then suddenly, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around here, we've just loaded in a gym. Or maybe we didn't. It's been a while since I've used Structure Blocks. But the basic idea is being able to copy paste anything. So we want to copy paste that whole woodland mansion over there. Guess what? We'd be able to do that. And yeah, that's something that the Structure Block allows you to do. Why is this non-console? I think that's fairly obvious. I think, you know, if you saw the complexities of that, you have to, one, increase the save size allowance, which is a big deal on console. Like, consoles don't like doing that. But, you know, you have to have a save size allowance. You have to have that separate to your world size. Then you have to have the complex stuff like this. So you could do that with a GUI, but it's kind of complex. And then you have to set up all this other stuff. And I think it would be possible on console, but I think the amount of work it would be significantly more than any other feature. And I'd like to see it, but if I was being entirely realistic myself, I wouldn't expect to see it. So yeah, why is the... Oh, I know what I did. I must paste it below the ground because I put minus 50 on the load. So instead I should go to like plus minus 32, and then we'll load. Wait, oh, darn it. It's been a while. Now we'll hit load. And there we go. Okay, so what we just did is we took our structure gym and we put it in the sky. So yeah, copy place block, pretty cool for building stuff. I think, you know, to encourage like whole communities of like building stuff, because they already exist and they probably already will, this would be pretty cool. But on the other hand, there is the side of things where like, oh yeah, everything you see being built on a PS4 and Xbox One, with a few exceptions, is usually built by hand on the console. Obviously there are converters to allow that to be a thing, but like it's a pretty cool little thing that does exist, and that's this right there. Anyway, with that said, I hope you did enjoy this video. There are 5 missing features from TU46. Why they're missing, I think we went through. I think my personal theory is that, you know, either they don't want to add new combat and just anything associated with it, or they ran out of time and they haven't thought of it yet, or more likely there's going to be some form of combat theme update, or they're going to put some combat theme stuff in the next update. Anyway though, those are my theories. I'd like to hear yours in the comments down below. Like it if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot. Let us know you do like this sort of stuff. Share the video if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye. This is just really fun copy and pasting. Anyway, goodbye.